counsel Corey Johnson, who has spoken out with real moral clarity on this issue and incident, and I want to thank him for his immediate attention and real passion to making sure that we are serving every New Yorker and doing what's right. So thank you, Corey.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon. It is terribly unfortunate that we have to gather here today, but it is absolutely necessary that we gather here today and speak out. I saw that video. I saw it on Sunday morning when a reporter tweeted it out, and I felt immediately heartbroken for Miss Headley and for her baby boy, and furious at what I saw because of how unacceptable that video is and how unacceptable what transpired on Friday is. It is a short video, 2 minutes and 26 seconds long, but it shows in just 2 minutes and 26 seconds what is wrong in our system, how disheartening it is to try and receive benefits for which you're entitled, how overflowing these offices are with people who need help, and how one incident can escalate so quickly and set off a chain reaction that sends a young mother to jail and a child into ACS custody. In 2 minutes and 26 seconds, that's what we saw. We saw how our system criminalizes poverty, disproportionately punishes petty behavior, and separates parents from children without considering the lasting damage that will occur to these parents and children. We saw it with our own eyes, and we are disturbed by it. We are never, ever going to forget what we saw in that 2 minutes and 26 seconds. And those of us who saw it, anyone who saw it, has an obligation to speak out and to make our system better, to fight for changes that will help families like Jasmine Headley's. I just heard at the pre-stated press conference our majority leader, Lori Cumbo, speak from the perspective of being a black woman with a 17-year-old black child, 17-month-old black child, and to hear her speak so passionately, so emotionally, from the perspective of a black woman with a small baby, to me indicates the structural racism that is involved in our systems here in New York City, and the importance to acknowledge that. I will be meeting with the Department of Social Services Commissioner, Steve Banks, and the NYPD Commissioner, James O'Neill, to get to the bottom of this, to understand how this could have happened, and what we can do as a city to make sure that it never happens again. We also have an obligation to, of course, look at the big picture of what we're talking about, but to also immediately help Jasmine Headley.
Yes.
We have the obligation to immediately help Jasmine Headley and her baby. This should have never happened, and every day that she sits on Rikers Island, we are compounding this tragedy. Every single day she is on Rikers Island, we are compounding this tragedy. I am glad the Brooklyn DA dropped charges. I am glad that the order of protection was rescinded and lifted. But she should be released from Rikers Island immediately and reunited with her 1-year-old baby. That is what should be done. Release her now. Release her now. And every leader in this city, should be saying that. Anyone who saw that video should be saying that. I have goosebumps right now just talking about it because it is so upsetting to see what happened. And it is so much more upsetting that she has been on Rikers Island since Friday. It is immoral. It is wrong.
Unconscionable.
Sometimes when things like this happen, it can feel hopeless. But there is strength in numbers, and I want to thank all of the advocates I want to thank all of my great colleagues in the City Council, those from the Progressive Caucus who helped organize this, and those who are not part of that caucus, but who are here in solidarity in this cause. Together, we will fight for change so that tragedies like this can never happen. And I just want to end with this. You know, it's important, of course, for me to speak out because I'm Speaker of the City Council. But I think it's also important for me to acknowledge that my voice is not the most important voice right now. The most important voices right now are voices likely of women of color, black women, who can relate to this experience, who understand what this is like. So I speak out because it is the right thing to do, but I also understand it is incredibly important that we listen to people who similarly have to withstand these things and have fear that this is going to happen to them and to their families and to their children. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, Speaker.
Release her now! 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 Release her now!
Release her now! Release her now! I woke up at 5 o'clock this morning and got my son ready because we had to go in front of HRA today in order to protest, in order to send a message loud and clear that black women in this city matter. Nobody understands how difficult it is to be a black woman in New York City, in America. As Malcolm X said, we are the most vulnerable. We are the most antagonized. We are the most neglected. We are the most disrespected in this entire country. And for that woman, our Jasmine Headley,
Yes.
each one of us are her. I have a 16-month-old son, and I can't imagine, because I would have fought just as hard as I did to hold on to my son if that had happened to me.
Yep.
And some people, these trolls are saying, why didn't she just stand up?
No.
Why did she just stand up? Why didn't someone offer her a seat?
That's right.
That could have fixed this whole situation. Treat people with dignity, with respect, that they matter, with humanity. And that's why we are out here today, of all races, of all nationalities, because we have to send a message loud and clear. Those officers made a calculated decision that by removing Jasmine from her son in the manner that they did, waving around tasers, that there would be no repercussions. We are here today because we are angry, we are mad as hell. We don't want some bogus investigation that's going to tell us we didn't see what we saw on the investigation on the video.
That's right.
We saw the video. Everybody saw the video, just like we saw the Eric Garner video. And we are not taking it anymore. We are fed up. And this is not a one-day presser. We are going to keep out until Jasmine comes home and until those officers, the least of which should happen to them is that they are fired. That's the least of what should happen. And we should not continue to victimize Jasmine. Now they're putting up all of these things about her background, her circumstances, and her situation. She is the victim here who's sitting in Rikers Island talking about trespassing, talking about endangering her child. Those officers endangered her child, and they should be where she is right now.
Right.
So we're going to continue to raise our voices. We're going to continue to make sure that repercussions are sent, because we have to send a message loud and clear. You do not attack black women in the city of New York. You do not attack any women in the city of New York. And that's where we stand as a council, and that's where we stand as a body. We have to continue to make sure that we raise these critical issues, and I thank my colleagues for being here today, because this can never happen again to another mother in the city of New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Release her now! 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 Release her now!
I have to go to court. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. My name is Lisa Schreibersdorf. I'm the Executive Director of Brooklyn Defender Services. We are the attorney for Jasmine Headley.
Yes!
First of all, I want to say that I am here to speak for her because she cannot speak for herself because she's on Rikers Island right now. She has no idea really the extent to which her case has shed a light on an injustice that none of us can accept. And obviously we're here with the support of the City Council and other elected officials to just express how disturbing this really is. She told me this is the worst day of her life when this happened. And then just when she would have wanted to maybe try to cope with this, instead she ends up in Rikers Island to cope with it over there by herself. The only people she has seen really are lawyers that she only met when this happened. She's had a social worker there every day from my office. I've been on the phone with her. She is a remarkable young woman. She understands that this is very upsetting to her, but that it has a bigger impact because it shed a light on something that maybe people don't know about. So I just want to say that Brooklyn Defender Services represents about 30,000 people a year in cases where they're arrested, cases where their children are being taken from them, when they're being deported, and our clients also in NYCHA, public, HRA, all of these resources and services that the City of New York provides to our clients. And when our clients go to these places to get help, they are often treated so less than. They are treated that they are really not human. They are not people. That they are somehow, not even worthy of the time and respect that they actually do deserve. And I will tell you, for Jasmine had a job. Jasmine wanted to work. She said, all I want to do is be able to go to work. Her child was in daycare, just like my child was in daycare when I went to work. And they were paying it, and nobody advised her that they were cutting off her benefit. She found out because they just stopped sending the check. She doesn't know why. Still to this day, we don't know why. The child care worker doesn't know why. She had to go there to find out why, and she's there for 4 hours. And I don't know who's saying she should have just stood up, because I haven't seen that. I'm glad I haven't seen that, because that would really anger me.
That's right.
But I will tell you that she was just sitting peacefully. Every witness who was there, everybody who saw it, the part before the video, she was just sitting on the floor with her baby. And people are talking about de-escalation. There was never any escalation here. This is not a person that was acting distressed, acting out. She was just sitting there and needed to sit down. I just want to thank everybody for coming forward and supporting Jasmine personally, and I really look forward to exploring some of the issues that are being brought up, and I think this is an opportunity to really look at the way people are treated at these agencies, and also when they call the police, and what the police do when they are called. All of this needs to be looked at, and I hope that this story doesn't die out. I have to leave now because I'm going to go to court right now, see if I can get a judge to release her, and I'm hoping that that works out.
Release her now!
Release her now! Release her now!
They want my name again. Lisa Schreibersdorf, Brooklyn Defender Services. BDS.org. You can get the spelling.
Can you just tell us where you're going to court and what the disposition is like? Why is she still at Rikers?
Okay, she's on Rikers Island right now because of a New Jersey matter. She was in a car with 4 people, and one of them had some stolen credit cards, not her. She was released. She was 20 years old. She was released at that time directly from the precinct or soon thereafter. I'm not that familiar with the New Jersey process. Trenton, New Jersey. She was never in New Jersey in her life. She is a Brooklyn girl, and she came home and didn't really understand that she needs to go back or where to go or anything like that. Okay, because of that, a warrant was issued. When she came through court in Brooklyn, that is called an extradition because it's in another state. Because it's an extradition, she was being held on that. It sounds very serious, like it's another country, but it's not. Because of that, there is a provision in the law that allows the judge to release her on an extradition. We are asking the judge to implement that procedure this afternoon. He's going to hear us at 2 o'clock, hopefully calendar that argument for later today. If that doesn't work out, New Jersey is scheduled to come pick her up tomorrow morning and bring her to New Jersey. Okay, right now, we hope that when she gets to New Jersey, that the judge over there believes that she should be released. And I'm working now to get her an attorney. There have been many offers of pro bono attorneys. There's been an incredible outpouring of support, which Jasmine doesn't even really know about, but I'm trying to make sure that she gets the best representation. And I know a lot of people want to help her. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in GoFundMe. I don't want to minimize this, but she needs to pay the babysitter and she needs to pay her rent when she gets out. And please don't go on any GoFundMe sites except the one we put up, because I know that will go to her. So that's about it. And is there any other questions?
Sheriff, have the Mercer County prosecutors dropped it?
Okay. All right. I'm sorry, what?
Did the Mercer County DA's office drop this?
Of course. They could. Absolutely. They could indicate that they're not interested in picking her up. They can let everybody know that they don't want to press these charges. Absolutely. And I hope they do. I hope they do it right now or as soon as possible.
Has anybody been in touch with them? Attorney General-elect James, you've been in touch with Mercer County?
Yeah. So let me just say it's I'm really proud to be a former public defender and associated in particular with the borough of Brooklyn because they've been working overtime. My office has been in touch with Mercer County. And we ask that they come and either have the warrant dismissed or have her released on her own recognizance. First, let me thank Eric Gonzalez. A number of us have been in touch with the District Attorney of Brooklyn. We want to thank him for dismissing the charges. We also would hope that Mercer County would do the same. We would hope that they would dismiss it in the interest of justice or issue a ACD, an adjournment in contemplation of dismissal, and they can do just that. And so we hope that at 2 o'clock, the judge in Brooklyn will release her on her own so that she can go to Mercer County in New Jersey. I think it's important to understand that the reason why there was a fugitive warrant, an extradition warrant, is because she had missed 2 court cases. And it's because, again, she probably had limited means to get to New Jersey and had no idea the legal process in New Jersey. The bottom line is that this young woman is still in jail, and her child right now is confused and is missing their mother. And it's really critically important that she be released and be released today. This is certainly an injustice, but it raises a number of issues. The first issue is the issue of de-escalation doesn't apply to her. It should have applied to the police officers.
That's right.
I also want to say that it was not NYPD that escalated this. It was the police officers at HRA. If you look at the video, it was the officers or the security personnel at HRA who escalated this. And they're the individuals who obviously need training. 2, why did it take 4 hours for this one young woman to get assistance? It's my understanding, based on information and my experience dealing with a number of individuals who seek assistance from these agencies, that on average it takes 4 and 5 hours. 3, why do they not accommodate women with children, senior citizens, and others who are disabled? We need more chairs. The answer to this should not have been the police. The answer to this should have been a chair.
Right.
Plain and simple. A chair. We needed someone who was an adult in the room to de-escalate this matter, to hold this woman, and to get a chair for this woman. Someone who was an adult, someone who was sensitive, someone who recognized that these individuals who go to HRR centers are suffering from a lot of stress. And so it's critically important that we have individuals who understand what is happening and that this woman and her child were terrified.
That's right.
And so what we have in our society is the over-policing of communities of color and poor people. And as I said previously, poverty should not be a crime. I thank the Women's Caucus, I thank all of my elected officials, but this is not over. It raises a significant number of issues that need to be addressed both in the city and statewide, and I look forward to working with the elected officials to do just that. Thank you. I'm trying to remember whether or not she was HRA or NYPD, but again, she was HRA. So HRA alerted NYPD, but the woman with the taser, I'm not sure whether or not she was a NYPD or HRA. I'm concerned with NYPDs, but it's important to understand that it did not get to that point without, again, HRA personnel and security escalating this matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Tish. Thank you, Madam President.
Sorry.
I'm going to ask, let's see. So I'm, Councilor Richards, Councilor Rodriguez to speak here, Councilor Kalos, Councilor Bayala,
And Helen, too.
Councilor Rosenthal right here. Councilmember Avery Samuels. So I just want to thank here the Progressive Caucus for organizing this today, as well as the Black, Latino, Asian Caucus, again the Speaker, the Women's Caucus, and I'll speak very briefly here. I'm totally outraged. As a council member, as chair of the Council's General Welfare Committee, as a father and as a human being, I'm totally appalled at what happened to Jasmine Headley and her child. Excuse for this type of force when she's simply trying to access the benefits that she was entitled to. I'm glad to see the Brooklyn DAs drop the charges against Ms. Headley, but as the Speaker and as our Majority Leader, Lori Cumbo, and as our Public Advocate and Attorney General-elect Letitia James said, there are more deeply rooted issues here to examine. This incident exposes a gigantic hole in the city's social services system. This happened at an HRA office. Ms. Headley was there to access her child care benefits, again, that she's absolutely entitled to. She took a day off of work to go in to figure out what was happening, as Lisa said, with her child care benefits so that she could pay for the daycare to allow her to go to work.
That's right.
And what we had here was the criminalization of being a mother.
That's right.
That's what this was. And the fact that, as our public advocate said, this could have all been solved with a chair. So New York City needs to come up with answers when it comes to wait times and backlogs at HRA offices, the role of peace officers, accommodations for people with children, and training of the staff on trauma-informed care and how to not escalate a situation, was exactly what happened.
That's right.
I spoke to an eyewitness who said that Miss Headley was all she was doing was sitting on the ground. Her child wasn't crying, she wasn't yelling, there was nothing to indicate that the police needed to be called. Nothing whatsoever to indicate that the police needed to be called here, and yet they were called, and we all saw what happened. So we need more information from HRA around wait times at HRA offices. What are the average wait times for client at HRA offices seeking city services like public assistance and SNAP? What is the case length for clients, and how many cases have lasted longer than 30 days waiting for a disposition? The role of peace officers. We need better data. What conditions are cops called in the first place? What situations are triggering a call to the NYPD?
That's right.
What is the accommodation for people for mothers with small children in an HRA office? If somebody's waiting there for 4 or 6 hours with a 1-year-old, I got a 22-month-old child. I could not imagine having to sit in an office with no play area, with no area to accommodate a small child. What that would do to the level of stress of a person that is waiting just to receive the benefits that they were entitled to, that they had, that got mysteriously cut off. So we need to know really what is going on a systematic level. What is happening with wait times? There was a recent closure at the DeKalb Avenue HRA SNAP office. What was the impact of that on wait times at other HRA offices? So we could really go on, but as has been said before, what we also need to focus on immediately is making sure that Jasmine is out of Rikers, is reunited with her children, with her child and her family, and back to work, and making sure that she has the support around her to go through this very traumatic experience. She did not ask for any of this.
That's right.
She was a victim here. We need to keep that in mind. Thank you. And I want to call on my colleagues, Council Member, let's see, we have the Progressive Caucus here represented, so I'll call up our co-chairs of the Progressive Caucus, Diana Ayala and Ben Kalos. We're also joined by the Black, Latino, Asian Caucus, the Women's Caucus, and the Women's Committee Chair Helen Rosenthal. So, sorry, we're losing a little bit of track here. Thanks.
I'm here with my co-chair, Diana Ayala. I'm Councilmember Ben Kalos. We co-chair the Progressive Caucus. We have so many members here today. We're here to say that you must let Jasmine go. We've reached out to the state of New Jersey to ask them to just pardon Jasmine, get rid of that warrant, let her free now.
Right.
I have to say, as a new parent, I have a 10-month-old, Steve has a 2-year-old, and Diana has grandkids. There is no way a New York City parent lets anyone take their kid. And everything she did was the right thing to be doing and shows that she is a parent who wants to be taking care of her kids. ACS needs to drop their investigation and move on. She was doing what she should be doing, which is getting child care. And I'm going to keep it very short, but we did so much wrong as a city, and we have a lot we need to do as a city to make up for what has happened to Jasmine, but it can start by letting her free today. And there should be nobody at these offices to begin with. The General Welfare Chair, Steve, and I have been working to just say, let's just give people the benefits automatically. Don't make the poor wait in line for hours and days, and let's just give them their services and not just cut them without saying anything. There's no reason why any of us should have to be here today. The mayor could have made this go away. The DA did the right thing by dismissing it. Now it's up to New Jersey.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't want to just continue to say what's already been said, but as a parent who has sat at numerous HRA offices throughout my lifetime while I was raising my children as a single parent, I can tell you that nothing has changed. This system has been the same exact way for years and years and years. The time now, because what happened to Jasmine has consequences, serious consequences.